channels. Not subscriptions. Channels. Right there. Okay, yeah, we got it now.
We're broadcasting. Sounds good. I dig that theme song, man. It takes me back to the good old days. And welcome to episode 2 of Cocktails and Streams with Skip. What have I been up to the last few weeks? It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Been lots of fun. Hey, I was hanging out with a little guy called Classified. I shouldn't say little. He's tall AF. And yeah, it was an extra on a video shoot. And that video is going to be something else. And I'm pretty pumped to share that with you when it comes out. Some new music by Classified, who's working on some tunes now. Tonight's guests, well, they just finished up in Summerland, from Summerland, BC. My guests tonight are Jill and Kevin from Moving Lines. They're kind of like a 80s influence type rock band from BC. They just finished up with a festival last night in Summerland. They've been a featured artist on Museboat. They got tunes galore available on all your main sources. You're looking at Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, all that stuff. So no excuse to check them out because you're going to see them tonight. I'm going to play a little bit from their show last night so you can see what they're about. And then we're going to meet Jill and Kevin. I think I might have looped that on you. Welcome, Jill and Kevin from Moving Lines to Cocktails and Streams with Skip. Episode 2, you guys. It's been a while since we've chatted.
Long time.
For some of the folks back home, they may not know we kind of grew up together in the same hometown, so it's kind of neat to hear that you guys have transitioned on. So tell us what's going on. How was the show last night?
Oh, the show was great. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a long day.
It was a long day. Yeah. We do sound production too, so we actually went up to early in the morning. Went up to the ski hill, the local ski hill in this area here. It's about an hour away, and set up production for a country band, Hillside Outlaws, who we do a lot of production for. And we came back, got ready, had a small nap, like 10 minutes, and then got ready for our show. And then did that, and then went back up to the ski hill.
Sometimes that's all you need, man.
Yeah, we got there just in time. Actually, so
Yeah.
it was perfect yesterday. So
Yeah.
worked out good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I knew I was gonna touch on the production side of it a little bit later on too, because I know you're doing the audio junkie things too. So
Yeah.
And you guys, I know in November you guys just released Landslide.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, we just released that one. And,
how's that going for you?
Oh, good. Yeah, we've
Okay.
it's I mean, we've got on some playlists here that with some other bands that are making some playlists too, and it's kind of nice to have other bands that are supporting too, right? Because I mean, Spotify and all those places, it's not like the music world is all that giving in terms of, you know, the pocketbook being a little bit wider once you get on Spotify, right? So
Sure.
it's nice to have, you know, other bands that support, and that seems to be a good thing that's been happening quite a bit with a lot of the songs. So they've been jumping up quite a bit in the playlist category. So, but yeah, Landslide's been great. All of them are actually doing pretty well right now. So
Yeah,
we can't complain.
we can't complain. Yeah, we're getting more and more playlists and stuff like that, and way more. You know, like interviews with you, and
Yeah.
we got lots of stuff out on radio all over the world, like Australia, New Zealand, UK, the US, Canada,
Great.
France,
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really
been good.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I've been doing the seminars here with Music Nova Scotia. It's kind of like they have this basic training package when you become a member, and it's kind of like an overview of all aspects of the music industry a little bit, kind of like, you know, a couple hours here and there on different topics. And, you know, we talked, you know, at length about, you know, different streaming services. You mentioned, you know, the Wallet book, or, you know, being open to musicians. But you're right, you know, hearing from you in BC, it's very similar. It's a lot of cross promotion. It's a lot of networking with other musicians, other talent, things like this. Like you guys are helping me out with my podcast by coming on and promoting your stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of teamwork behind the scenes that maybe not a lot of people would expect. But with the transition away from record labels and people becoming kind of their self-management teams and things like that, is really I should quit saying that. I always say things like that too much, but that's a pet peeve of mine.
It's true. They is changing.
Yeah, so I mean, it really is up to the musicians themselves to promote their work, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly, because that's why we do everything. But I mean, I think during the pandemic, we just started learning to do more and more, and because we didn't have a way to do it, and now we are building our business, right? So the more that we learn, the more we can benefit, then we can help other people out too, right?
Of course,
So-
technology always takes the forefront of that,
Absolutely.
right? We didn't have this technology, we'd still be delivering cassette tapes to the local radio stations or wherever, right?
Yeah.
Those were things that happened way back in the day. I mean, we
Yeah.
both went through that. You know, you, me, Jill, everybody that's our age group. That's what you did. You busted your butt, got a demo, delivered it to, you know, PR people or whoever, and that's how it came about. But nowadays, it's, you know, you just go on YouTube or, you know, whatever, TikTok, and throw
Right,
something
yeah.
out there and see what people think. It's just it's changed so much. It's
Yeah,
pretty
you
crazy.
can reach the whole world. I mean, I do a lot of networking and stuff like that with people, and you know, when you talk to people out in the UK and New Zealand, I mean, you could never do that long time ago. You know,
No.
what are you gonna? I mean, you could get on the phone and call
No, exactly.
people, but you gotta, it takes, like, we send
I'm gonna-
something to
I'm gonna write
Galaxy.
this letter, send it.
So were you saying, Skip?
Oh no, I was just commenting on that. It was just you know, you're right. You can reach so much more. Like before, you'd have to send out an envelope with a cassette tape, hope that they'd hear it. You know, have no, you know, chance to have any type of feedback immediately. You'd hopefully they'd hear it, and then if they liked it, you might hear something. If you didn't know either way, right?
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
this is immediate. You know, your audience is seeing it right away. You know, and then those, you kind of generate your own fan base, and then you kind of generate your own interest from there. About now,
Yeah.
Jill, I wanted to come back to you for a second.
Yeah.
Your vocals. I mean, when I first started listening to your guys' stuff, I mean, how much do you get Ann Wilson references? Like, I mean, I just hear that so much. Like, I don't know if it's influence or if it's just a commonality, or how much do you get on that?
Oh, I get tons. And of course, I mean, Anne, she's like,
Yeah.
number one, other than her and, you know, Whitney Houston and Aretha Franklin, that sort of thing. But it's kind of funny. Every time we go to a show, we get different things, right? People will say different things, like
Rough Trade.
McElwain, or Rough Trade, or sometimes we get
You
Cher
got
or
that
whatever.
classic rock and roll voice, you know?
Yeah. But of course, Anne, I mean, that's the dream, right? Like, people say I sound like Anne, and I'm just like, you know, blown away, really. Because, I mean, she is my biggest idol.
But you also have your own voice in your own right, too, though. I don't want to, you know, start off by stereotyping you as like that type of singer either. Like, you've got a great range and dynamic as well. So, I mean, when you listen through all of the music, I mean, you can definitely hear that presence. But, I mean, every song you've got a little different take on it, which is cool.
Yeah, and I think that's where you kind of gain, you know, like at first when we started playing and stuff, that's how you find who you are. Because sometimes you're frustrated, like, who am I? Because you play so many covers and you listen to other people singing and you kind of mimic what they're doing, but you're like, okay, so who am I, right? I think that was the most frustrating thing in the beginning is, you know, you can never be those people, but they can always influence you, right? So then you start to grow as a musician and say, you know, this is my style and this is how I want to interpret it. Maybe I want to take a little bit of, you know, like a little bit of Big Rick, or maybe some Diana Krall and a little bit of Aretha and Ann Wilson, and just throw it all into the style that we're working on, which is like amazing that we can take all those incredible musicians and put them into our music so we can be unique, right? I mean, it is a process. Try to be. But thank you.
Definitely a process.
Yeah, that's a huge compliment, and I've grown a lot. I have amazing vocal teacher.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we all have, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I could sing naturally. I mean, our family, everyone sang and everyone played, like the kitchen singers and players, right? But it was all country, Western.
Right.
You know, I didn't really fit into that. So, I mean, over time, it's just kind of natural with harmonies. And when I got this vocal instructor, I mean, we were singing 5 times a weekend, and I didn't want to get nodes and things like that, right? So I've actually grown from, you know, naturally singing, and I'm up to like 4.5 octaves now. So she's changed my life. It's been amazing.
Excellent.
So it's good.
Yeah.
I've been... Something I've been listening to is a lot of that. You know, a lot of people will take vocal lessons, and it's not just because they can't hit pitch or, you know, and things that are related to those areas of singing, but it also the like you mentioned, the endurance aspect. When you're pumping out shows like that, the risk of injury to your voice is so high. You know, and I mean, in turn hearing as well. I mean, there's all those risks that come in with loud noise, and a lot of people are going to like in-ear monitors to protect their hearing, and a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you're not a real band if you're not using the wedge. But the longevity of it is you protect hearing, you do different things, you know, and that's the thing we're learning with technology too. So
yeah, exactly.
What you're talking about with voice, let's translate that to Kevin with tone, right? You know, she was talking about looking for different influences and finding that voice. And I mean, you know, with as a guitar player, you know, we look for a perfect tone, and that tone that's going to identify you as an artist, right? Like you'll peel, oh, that one sounds a little like Frampton, or this one sounds a little bit like whoever, right? But you know, it's that same thing. And you're doing producing, which is something that's kind of got me intrigued, and and how do you find, as a producer, like Audio Junkie Music and all that? I mean, you've got your own ways you want to do it. How are you working with other artists much? Are you finding a collaboration as a producer yet? Like, I guess, how are you finding that world?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I've had artists in here that, like, I'm actually working with one right now that she came in with a song idea. She had like a demo with just basic, straightforward drums, a little bit of guitar work, and a bass line. The bass line was the key thing. Somebody else did the bass line for her, and we kind of fleshed it out. We're still working on it right now, but yeah, it's, when she told me about the song kind of thing, she wanted to be rock and roll. I was like, okay, we got to kind of focus on, how do we make this song more rock and roll, like you want, right? So we kind of just sat down and went through a few things and came up with some ideas. But yeah, I mean, producing is, it's kind of an art form, I guess, in a way. I mean, it depends what somebody's bringing to the table too, right? Like, what do you have? What are you starting with? What instruments are we going to be using? Is this, world music? Is it rock? Is it jazz? Is it whatever? There's a lot of questions that could be, you could take a song. We've seen it lots of times on YouTube, like all the mashups even. Some of those mashups are great. I just watched one today that was Wham and Ozzy together, like from Black Sabbath, and I was like, this is great. It's kind of cool. I know that's not a producer thing, but it's a unique take on something that's already been there. We've heard, Ozzy, we've heard Wham, and you put those two together and you'd think, what? That shouldn't work, but it kind of does. It's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what producing, I guess, would be like, is just formulating something for the artist that kind of works for them, and of course trying anything you can, like, different effects, different things that you can do, like different guitar tones, like you were saying. Maybe there's no guitar, maybe it's piano instead, maybe that works better. So we just try a bunch of things, right, just to see what flows the best. But yeah, it's art, right? It's like painting. You see a color, or you see something, and you want to paint it that color, or it's a certain object or whatever. Maybe it's just abstract though, and that's okay too, because I think abstract art is fantastic. Everybody sees something different. It's the same with music, right? You kind of hear something different. Just like when we walk into a place and we're playing a show, then people say, "Oh, you sound like Rough Trade," and you're like, "Really? Oh, okay. I've never thought of that."
Yeah.
Okay, and then certain artists we've never actually heard of, and we go back and we actually listen to them because we're kind of curious, right, as to what does that artist sound like?
Yeah, and what are they hearing in us?
Yeah.
Right?
So it is very interesting. So production is a big key thing. But I mean, for myself, when I'm doing it down here, I'm a basic guy when it comes to like the rock tones. I don't use a lot of pedals, even live. I don't. I just use the amp sound. That's what I really love. And delay and reverb are my top effects. I mean, I just love those effects. I think they're just classic, and that's all I really go for. Is just something simple for myself, right? There's a few tricks up the sleeve, but I mean, I try to keep it as basic as possible because I think less is more in some aspects. So,
and we just kind of layer from there. We just kind of layer up, or maybe like movie sound effects added in there, like really like subtleties and stuff. But it just changes the whole song. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I mean, we've used like hits and risers and stuff in our songs that you would use in film production. For scoring or something like that, or doing a trailer, and they work in songs too. I mean, you can use those things, right? So anything can work if you just kind of sit there and go, well, what do I hear? What do I want it to sound like? And you'd be surprised sometimes. Most, like for instance, Dreams Will Never Die. When we released that one, when I recorded it, I made a mistake in the guitar part in the acoustic line, and that was the first part that I recorded. And the mistake actually ended up being in the song on every line that comes by in the motif part, and it actually worked really well. So mistakes sometimes can be like a saving grace in a song too. You're like, oh, that actually works kind of. Yeah. I like that. It works, right?
Or even if we change the drums or some sort of
exploration.
Explore. Exactly.
Yeah, like the new song we're working on is like really cool 80s drums and sounds like that, and it just kind of we're like, whoa, you know, like it just like
It opens
you had
it up.
that aha moment, and then all of a sudden Kevin's like, oh yeah, I know, I can find that guitar riff in there
Yeah.
now, right? That we've been looking for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just
Right.
as soon as you add like that right piece of the puzzle, it's just like,
Blows up.
yeah. And it's, we're like, whoa, that's cool, you know, let's.
Yeah. But art is art, right? I mean, you just do what you got to do to get the song done, and that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
sometimes that simple.
And that's why we say we're painters of sound, because it is like abstract art, right?
Yeah.
We're taking so many genres, like anything from blues, jazz, opera, rock, I mean, metal, everything,
Anything
right?
that sounds
And
cool.
just
try
we're
it.
like, oh, this little
Yeah.
component of that looks really cool here, or maybe even pop, you know, like those,
Yeah.
especially the '80s pop stuff, and you throw that in there with it, and you know,
Never know.
if it works, if not, you take it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of technology too, right? You can just instantly change something, and you don't have to go re-record it necessarily. I always
Exactly.
do reamping, so I just plug in and I reamp, and I can pick any sound or change it at any time. Drums, same thing. I got electronic kit here. I've done real drums before. I just like working with an E-kit just because I get the sounds that I want. I use the raw samples. I never use like the produced samples that come with a kit. I always
Right.
just go off and find my own sound for the drums that I'm looking for, because every song can be different in that point too, right? It has to blend with the song in order to make it work. So, yeah, those are things that I don't know. I just explore it, right?
Yeah,
I just
our
got
tools we
interest in
use.
tools that we use. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot out there.
I know I'm working with a little bit of a delay, so I'm trying not to interject too much. But I mean, those things are the best metronomes in the world, by the way. Like, I mean, just even hitting some of those beats just gives you a little bit of a background of idea where you want to progress with the percussion line or a drum beat, you know, things like that just work
Yep.
together. It's all starting with that bass line or that track, right? Like, so what you said, you know, just coming in with, you know, one thing can be all you need to get that creativity flowing.
Absolutely.
So what do you guys got on the go next? What should we be watching out for?
Single release coming up in March. We haven't picked a date yet, though. I'm just in the mastering phase right now, so we're kind of just working on that. Hopefully, going to be finishing that maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. See how we feel. It was late night last night. Like I say, early morning. I guess we're home at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So
That was the
kind of a little tired
Yeah.
today, but I mean, it's all good. And hopefully getting that done, and then it'll be a March release for sure. So probably the end of March. We've got a couple other songs on the go as well. So we're trying to, before it gets really crazy during the summer, because we just have a lot going on. This is the time we try to build songs that we have kind of parts written for, and try to flesh them out more, so we don't have to sit and go, well, let's write a song, and then
Yeah.
we don't have time to do it. So
So we can get them ready, and then every couple months
Yeah.
we try to release
Yeah.
a new single, right? Just to keep things going. So
that's kind of, and then shows. I mean, we got some shows
Absolutely.
booked until September now, and we just keep going. If there's more coming in, then we try to take it on if we can, and if not, well, next time.
but our next single
Yeah.
is called Secrets.
Oh.
Yeah,
We've been watching a lot of
treasure
treasure
hunter
hunting
stuff.
stuff
So
and the
Oak
history.
Island.
Oak Island.
Is one of them. And Josh Gates.
Actually, stay tuned. Actually,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
you know that I made a couple posts. A friend of mine, Ken, he's got Haddon Hill Guitars, and he's working on a guitar for his what do you call that? That secret society, the fellowship.
Oh.
I'm not sure I'm not allowed to talk about it, but you know, anyway, so he's got some timbers from the TR1 shaft that Teddy Roosevelt was created. He's got some wood from that the Lagina brothers donated to him, and the whole crew gave to him for a fundraiser. So he's in the process of building that. I'm going to slip out there one of these weekends and get some footage of that going on. So yeah, in March, if you don't mind, come back to visit me. We'll talk about your stuff, and maybe I'll see if I can steal you a sliver of wood or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
That'd
Yeah.
be really cool.
That'd
Maybe
be
they'll
cool.
play our song during the show.
Yeah, you never know. Need some intro music. There you go.
Yeah. Well, you never. That's the thing, is sometimes you just got to go for it. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you both for joining me. I appreciate your patience. I know I'm dealing with some microphone issues, so that goes to the same for us at home. But congratulations, you two, on all your success so far, and I'm so excited to see you guys enjoying life, making music, and and sharing it with the rest of us. So yeah, everybody, Kevin, Jill, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Okay?
Thanks very much,
Yeah,
Skip.
thank
Have a good one, man.
All right. Take care, you guys. Love yous.
All
Take
right.
care.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Well, that does it for this episode of Cocktails and Streams with Skip, and I'm going to figure out my mic issues next time, so I'm figuring out, I don't know what the delay is. I'm a noob, so this is part of the process. You're part of my journey, and the path along the way even can be a bit rocky. But hey, thanks for joining me on this episode. Stay tuned. We got more to come in the weeks ahead, and keep it up. Keep rocking in the free world. Cheers. Skip out.